Hi, my name's Leanne Pero and I'm a 5-year cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2016 and it was a massive shell shock to me. Not only was I only 30 years old and my mum was diagnosed 6 months before I was, but I was also a really healthy dance and fitness instructor. I'd always taken care of myself and I'd always looked after my body. So cancer was a massive shock to me. There was a huge feeling of blame, if I'm being honest, around my cancer diagnosis. Why was someone who was fit and healthy like me diagnosed with cancer? I also got a little bit of stigma from people in my community. Oh, it must be because you drink. Oh, it must be because you always are out working, and that didn't help either. It actually made my experience of cancer quite worse. What I really found quite early on in cancer was that I was going to have chemo, but also because of my family history with breast cancer, I was going to have both my breasts removed. And I think that was when I realised that the body image thing was going to be tough for me. I was always so conscious about my weight and how I looked, and a lot of my work previously before cancer was quite public. So to then be given this diagnosis and then be told these things, chemo, gonna lose your hair, and obviously seeing my mum having gone through chemo, you put on weight, and then also the fact that both of your breasts will be removed was such a tough thing for me to go through. It must have been when I was nearing the end of my treatment and I had no hair on my body. I had put on 2 stone from the treatment, and I had my operation where both of my breasts were removed. And I will never forget, a couple of days before I was given the all clear, I was driving down a hill near my flat, and I remember feeling like if the car crashed at the bottom of the hill, I wouldn't really care because I'd lost so much during my cancer battle. And I'm not necessarily just talking about the person who I was before, and some of the other things like the loss of friends and the loss of my social life and the fact I had to give up uni. It was more around how I felt in myself. I didn't look myself. I was unrecognizable. By that time, I couldn't even look in the mirror. And I think when you're going through cancer at that age and being a woman, for me, I felt like cancer robbed me of everything that makes me a woman. I think cancer robbed me of all those things. And I'll be honest, I had to dig very deep, in a very deep place, to find myself again. One of the first things that I did when I was given a diagnosis was I joined the cancer community. I decided that the help around me wasn't really conducive. I needed to find people that could resonate to me, that I could talk to and not feel like an alien or not feel like I was on my own. The second thing that I did was I started just blogging about my cancer journey. I set up my own blogging site and I put my blogs on there because I found it really therapeutic to talk about my journey. And then the last thing that I started to do was something I actually discovered a long time ago when I was going through depression. But I started to write 10 things every day, every morning, that I was thankful for. And as that time went on, I call it the gratitude list. As that time went on, I started to obviously give thanks for the fact that I was cancer free and the fact that, the drugs helped me. I gave thanks for the NHS. But some of the more not obvious, but some of the more deep stuff started to come out because, when you're giving gratitude every day, you kind of give thanks for the same things. But actually I started to give thanks for my really strong body, for pulling me through chemo, for allowing me to still be here today. I thanked my previous breast, and then I thanked my new breasts that I got as a result of reconstruction. And I found that gratitude practice really, really helped me reclaim the things that I could control again. And that was how I felt about myself and how I felt about my body moving forward. So I no longer think of my body in that way. Don't get me wrong, I do have my days where I still say mean things to my body, and it definitely has never gone back to the same way it was. But I definitely look at my body more so very different now. I look at it as a place where I need to fuel and look after and have respect for, because in return, my body will do the same for me. You know, I catch myself now saying horrible things and unkind things to myself. And I remember being told all of this when I was really struggling. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't believe them. I thought, oh, it's just words, you know. But the power of words, affirmations, and just standing true to yourself, I think for me worked really, really well. I think body image is something that's huge for cancer patients, and I think people don't talk about it enough, but we need to, because we need to normalise that this is something that a lot of people are going to go through. So I hope those hints and tips have helped you just a little bit. But for me, of course, I know that the relationship with my body, in generally anyway, is a lifelong journey. But I'm just glad that I found ways that have really, really helped me.